politics.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Glenn Mills. It is time to go inside Utah politics. We do begin this morning with David Damshin, CEO of Utah Housing Corporation, here to discuss the current market trends and programs for first-time home buyers. David, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Glenn. Good to be with you.
This is a big topic right now when we kind of take a look at where things stand and where the next generation of home buyer is going to turn. So let's dig into that. But first, talk to us a little bit about Utah Housing Corporation. Tell us about the background and what it is and what it does.
Sure. Utah Housing Corporation is a governmental entity. We're a independent state agency. We're self-funding, and our mission is to help low and moderate income families attain safe, stable, clean, affordable housing, whether they be buying their first home or seeking affordable rental housing.
Okay. And this is something that's actually in state statute formed by the legislature.
That's right. We do a number of things. We issue tax-exempt private activity bonds and allocate low-income housing tax credits to work with developers and investors to construct affordable rental housing. And we buy mortgages and service them and provide down payment assistance to help folks buy their first home.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about families who may be struggling to take that step, give us an idea of who those people are in our community.
Well, we're a little bit of a canary in the coal mine with our focus on low and moderate income families. And when we say low and moderate income, we're usually talking about on the rental housing side of things, like 43% of area median income. Our home buyers are up in the maybe 100% to 130% of area median income range. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about household incomes from $130,000 on the high end down to nearly nothing for those that are most vulnerable in our communities.
We have all watched the last couple of years, and our jaws have dropped as we have seen housing prices go higher and higher. I honestly never thought I'd see the day where the median price is where it is today. So let's talk a little bit about that. Give us an idea of current conditions and what the market is seeing as we speak.
Yeah, and I believe the average or median home price statewide for all incomes and all buyers is up in the $600,000 range still, kind of in that neighborhood. For those that we serve, we've seen some trending down recently. It peaked out at about $380,000. Now we're down to about $345,000. So there are homes out there that are affordable. Mm-hmm. They're few and far between. And with these elevated interest rates, they're very challenging for most families to be able to buy.
And when we talk about housing, that's an essential need. It's really a cornerstone to what you can do really in life.
That's right. Home ownership is such a key to long-term financial wellness and stability, as well as wealth accumulation for Utah families. And in working with the legislature this last session, President Adams said many times, we're losing our middle class. And much of the effort that the legislature undertook this past session was with that in mind.
One of my boys, 22 years old, he's trying to get into a home right now. I've been trying to help him. It's not easy. It's a complicated and frustrating process right now, but there is help available. Let's talk about some of the first-time homebuyer options that can help people close that gap and get into home ownership. We saw one of those bills. You mentioned President Adams. He passed something this year. Interesting that he put his own name on it because you don't typically see that happen with the President of the Senate. But talk about what that program does for first-time home buyers.
Sure. I'll reel back really quick before the legislature steps into this and say that Utah Housing Corporation has been providing down payment assistance to help those prospective home buyers that don't have sufficient down payment. That's our business, and we've been doing it for a long time. So it's exciting to see the legislature stepping in and recognizing the need for maybe some additional support to those home buyers. SB 240, the bill sponsored by President Adams, co-sponsored by Representative Stephen White, pretty straightforward. It provides up to $20,000 in assistance in the form of a so-called soft second. So it's no payment, no interest. It does have to be paid back when the home is refinanced or sold. And that $20,000 can be used in conjunction with the regular down payment assistance that we normally provide at Utah Housing Corporation. So those resources combined can make it happen for a lot of families. That $20,000 can be used for interest rate buy down, closing costs, or down payment assistance.
And there are some requirements. This is geared toward new construction. Talk about why that angle was taken in this approach.
That's right. Well, there's a lot of ways to explain the mechanism and the genesis of this housing crisis, but economically, and most simply stated, the biggest problem is a massive dislocation between supply and demand, and that's recognized by policymakers. So there's a hesitance, I think, to come with a program and money that simply stimulates demand further. And so this approach of requiring that this assistance be used only for the purchase of newly constructed homes or homes never previously occupied, it serves as an incentive to builders to produce more supply. So it's seen as a balanced approach that we hope will not further exacerbate this dislocation between supply and demand. And we're excited to roll it out and see what it'll do.
And the maximum price on that, I believe, is $450. Is that correct?
$450,000. We have a little bit of flexibility down the road to adjust that as needed. And we have had conversations with some leadership in Salt Lake County, pointing out the particular challenges we'll have in Salt Lake County, making that program work.
Give us an idea of how those conversations are going, because you take a look at new construction in Salt Lake County, and I haven't seen it at that price point that I'm aware of.
There's precious little. I think it's going to be very difficult to see a lot of results in Salt Lake County with the program, and that's why we may need to take a look at making adjustments down the road, possibly with some form of localized, differentiated price caps. That's not in the legislation, but it's something that we can look at in terms of program parameters as we go forward.
So in addition to this program, as you mentioned, this is something your organization has provided for buyers for a long time. You talked about assistance in helping them get the down payment, but let's talk a little bit more about how that works for an average buyer who comes to you, and maybe this new program of new construction and whatnot isn't for them. How do they put your services to work?
Well, it's important to note that the builders and the lenders that a home buyer work with need to be Utah Housing Corporation eligible. So there's typically affiliations between the lenders and the builders, and then we have a set of lenders, quite a few of them, and you can find out who those are on our website at uthc.org. But really, those lenders are the ones that work face-to-face with the borrower, with the home buyer. They put the loan package together, and if the loan is conforming with our programs and it's in the buyer's best interest to do their financing with Utah Housing Corporation and with the down payment assistance that we can provide, then we buy that loan, provide the down payment assistance, and then we service that loan long-term going forward as well.
So essentially a buyer can get in with zero down out of their pocket?
Essentially, yes. That I can answer that question more unequivocally 2 or 3 years ago. As you might guess, the primary obstacle, I would say right now, to affordability is not so much down payment, but those interest rates.
Right. So are there programs that can help buy those interest rates down potentially?
Yes. The SB 240 program was designed with interest rate buy down as the likely first alternative that a home buyer might consider using those funds for.
Got you.
And we have seen a steady growth in interest rate buy down with the production that we are handling at Utah Housing Corporation, based on that factor, that it's really getting those rates down that makes a home affordable for a family.
You talk about the new program and having to pay that back on refi or selling the home. Some of these other programs you talk about, though, is that necessarily the case?
Our standard program is a fully amortizing, 30-year fully amortizing second mortgage. So that's paid back as well. We often explain the way our programs are structured by saying it's kind of the Utah way. These are recyclable resources. And that's what allows us to be here 50 years from now, providing down payment assistance to your grandchildren and their children.
Obviously, though, the hope is you build enough equity in the home to still come away with that being a benefit. Okay, so anyone who's watching right now may be thinking, this might be able to help me. What's the best way? You already mentioned a website, but what's the best way to get in touch? You also said that it's probably through a lender, potentially, that they would get in touch with these programs?
That's right. Everything we do at Utah Housing Corporation is public-private partnership. We rely on investors and developers and lending institutions. So we're working with commercial banks, mortgage banks, and credit unions. So talk to a lender, ask them if they work with Utah Housing Corporation, and if they do, they'll have access to these programs and to this new program in particular.
All right, David Damshin, thanks so much. Appreciate the insight.
My pleasure. Thanks, Glenn.
Still to come, the Utah Democratic Party will be